Tyler Seguin said something interesting last night. He said he told Esa Lindell that he didn't fully appreciate him until he's out of the lineup, watching him on TV.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. So as a coach, when you're watching film and you're breaking games down the way that we don't, what do you appreciate about Lindell that we wouldn't?
Yeah.
Or his own teammates wouldn't?
Yeah. You know what? He's one of those invaluable guys that doesn't, take you out of your seat with his skill or his speed, but is just quietly, very effective in whatever situation you put him in. Those guys are the glue and the meat, of the teams that win. Everybody's got those type of guys, and he's one of those guys for us. I mean, it's consistency, it's competitiveness, it's leadership, and it's done in a quiet, understated way, but invaluable to our group.
We all noticed the block, of course.
Yeah.
But are there little things that he's really good at? I don't know, stick on puck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he just his hockey IQ, he's always in the right place. And then, he's a really underrated big body strength guy, very, very few times he doesn't come out of confrontations with the puck, or battles with the puck. I think that's probably the biggest thing. He's such a nice guy off the ice, he's always smiling, he's like a gentle giant, and then, you go in the corner with him and, most of the time he's coming out with the puck. He's got that quiet competitiveness.
Just about to say, he's always quiet, he's always smiling, as you said. What's his leadership style behind closed doors? Does he speak up, or is he more of a
more and more in my time here. I think he's gotten more comfortable in that. I think definitely in that group of Finnish players, he's probably the most vocal of that group, and he's really well respected. I think we all saw it probably, how respected he is and how good a man he is away from the rink when we went to Finland this year and saw how Helsinki and his hometown, where he owns a pro team, how they came out and supported him and how they treated him and, how much reverence they held him in. That was amazing to me. That shows you everything you need to know about a guy when he goes to his hometown and they react that way, because that doesn't happen accidentally. There's been a lot of heavy lifting off the ice, both charity and in his local hockey organization and around town, and spending his off seasons there and his family's there. So that was really impressive.
We talk so much about Esa, but of course the PK is a four-man unit.
Mm-hmm.
What have you liked from guys like Cece and Labushi, as well as just the forward depth that you have there?
Yeah, we've gotten great contributions from all those guys. I think first thing, Alain Nazardine's done a fantastic job with our penalty kill. In my time here, he was one of my first hires, and I always appreciated his detail on the penalty kill, even when he was in New Jersey prior to me hiring him, and he's brought that to our group in a belief, and it's been right from day one. It's been an elite group, and regardless of who we put in and out, and we've had some really good penalty killers come in and out. I mean, Chris Tanev was here and he's not here. Glendening was here and he's not here. Faxa was here and he's not here now, and it still hasn't missed a beat. So I think that's a big credit to him. And it's also a credit to the guys who have been the mainstays, kind of on it long term here. And, we've got a really good forward group now, and we've integrated, Wyatt Johnson's taken a role in that. Rupe Hens has taken a big role in that. As we've lost those specialists a little bit, but, Back's come in, Steele's done a great job. On the back end, those D have been really interchangeable. I mean, when Harley was probably one of our best penalty killers. When Miro went out, we made a conscious effort, not to load him up with those minutes, and so we asked, other guys in that defense core to grab those minutes, and those guys have done that. CC, Lybushkin, Bischel's gone on there and done a good job. So, we've gotten great contributions from a lot of guys.
Pete, what was your impression of Jimmy Benn from the outside, coaching against him, to now being in the trenches with him since you've been here?
Yeah, you know what, Benner was always, I think when you're on an opposing team coming in, he was always that the X factor kind of on the other side. He was that guy that could take over a game physically or with his skill. He had a presence to him just because of his size, but also, because of the respect he carried around the ice. No one wanted to poke the bear, so to speak, too much. So, and then when you get around him, I think the big thing I realize is just how beloved he is by his teammates. And you don't get that by accident. You don't get that by buying team dinners. You get that by how you treat people on a daily basis, and that's probably his best part. When he gets off the ice, he's a really unselfish, good guy, that is a friend to everybody, that's always taking care of everybody, and his team loves him.
You've kind of found a way to kind of contain their speed a little bit. Is it just as simple as guys buying into the system and doing the right thing, or is it more complicated than that?
No, that's as simple as it is, and again, you don't do that unless you've got 5 guys on the ice on the same page, with that recognition. So, I agree with you, and I think our attention to detail has been the reason for that.
Sorry if you've been over this with, but Sagan's off to a great start.
Yeah.
He has hip surgery to fix the nagging issue. Was the timing of it intended for him to be back in the playoffs? And what was that 50-game-ish absence like for him?
You know what? The intention coming into camp was, our hope was that he could play with it, and he did. He came out of the gate strong, point a game, and then I believe we got into a couple back-to-back situations with games, and it just absolutely flared up on him. And I think at that point, kind of reality struck, like, if he continues to battle through this with the grind of a playoff, if he can't get through back-to-backs during the regular season, how is he going to get through a playoff run? So that's when the surgery was decided to have. And honestly, I think, his due date back from the official surgery was probably, this week or next week. He worked his ass off to get back as early as he did, and I think I've mentioned this before. I think it's the earliest the surgeon who did this surgery has ever had a guy come back from this, and then that was him just working to give himself a chance to play.
What does an extra day off mean for you guys as far as energy and just recovering from guys like Harley, obviously?
Yeah, we need it. We've got some guys with some big minutes on them, but also, the way we ended the season, I think we played 3 games in the last week prior to the playoffs, and Colorado was off pretty much that whole week. It's a little bit of catch-up for us.
Is it, when he comes back that fast, is it kind of a testament to how big a team player he is, or how fast a healer he is, or how do you?
Well, I think it's a testament to the staff working with him, how hard our sports science staff worked with him, and trainers to get back. Personally him, how hard he worked off the ice and what he did extra to make sure he gave himself a chance to get back. So I think there's a big team, that's involved in that.
You said Miro's getting closer. I know.
Yeah.
I'm that guy.
I was going to ask.
Is that for real as a possibility next game, or?
You know what? Every day we get a little more. Today was a scheduled day off for him. He skated 4 days in a row. They've got a plan for him. He's doing more. He ran our power play at pregame skate. He got into some 2-on-2 stuff at the end of practice, which is the start of some contact. But it's honestly, I would call it day to day now. But it's all on how, his body reacts to what we've done on the previous day. So, and I haven't even seen him today.
There's a whole list of reasons why you had some adversity early in this series and you're up 2-1.
Yeah.
And now Rantanen's starting to feel it.
Yeah.
Sagan's getting up to speed. Maybe you get Merrill back. Do you feel like you have an opportunity here where you've gotten through some adversity and you got a 2-1 lead?
Yeah.
And now you're getting stronger?
Yeah, I think we're getting better as the series goes on. And you know what? And I think our group knows no one picked us to win this series either. I'm not sure where your pick was, but
I picked Colorado.
Gary, how about you?
You know, I don't make picks anymore. You know that.
That's fair.
So, I think our group. I think our group felt that we were missing key pieces, but I think the people we did have available to us. I don't think we're given as much respect as they probably should have been given, and I think they're showing that through the first part of the series, and they're getting better every night.